Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Free?
Yeah, all free.
Man, you guys need marketing tips, go to benjybruce.com. Dave, we got any questions?
Yeah, Stephen Cassie Walker, what was your biggest obstacle when you were trying to make this work?
Biggest obstacle?
My biggest obstacle is I probably thought too much about what other people thought of me. So because of that, I was kind of holding back a lot. So I would hold back in terms of what I was talking about, and I wasn't being as aggressive because I thought maybe someone would think I'm arrogant or something like that. So I would hold back a whole lot. And once I overcame that, I just started to literally just pushed forward. I literally didn't care what people thought, if they thought, oh, he's conceited or anything.
That's the best one. That one should move to number one. Because I mean, I've used that 1,000 times. Before, I worried about what everyone was going to think, what everyone was going to say, what everyone was going to, project onto me, and I would talk, and I'd leave, and it's like nothing was happening. And finally I said, man, I don't give a rat's ass. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm just going to be real. If someone doesn't like me being real, then I guess they don't like me. Who gives a shit? And that's when everything started taking off, because I was real. And guess what? There's people that love me, and there's people that can't stand me. Well, I'm not looking for the people that can't stand me. They're going to exist. You're never going to make everybody happy, so I suggest you make yourself happy. So what he's talking about is be yourself and go all in. Don't hold back. Don't be afraid of what people are going to think. That should be number one right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was really hard, because it's not even just with people who don't know you. It's also just friends and family, because they're the ones you're like, oh, maybe they'll call me out or something. So once you get to that mode where it's like, I don't care, then you just go full
like
force.
Stephen Walker, the guy that answered that question. We're buying some swag, some cool swag stuff he's got, but he always wears these dumbass headphones. And like every time he calls, you got the outlines of the headphones. I'm wondering why is he always wearing them damn headphones? But dude, I talked to someone the other day and I said something about Stephen, or I said something about him, and he goes, the headphone guy? I'm like, yeah. So again, dude, wearing dumbass headphones the whole time, guess what's turning into a brand? Now he's going to be known as the headphone guy. Next thing you know, he'll be worth millions of dollars. He's the headphone guy. Yep. He shouldn't worry about what someone thinks about why is he wearing them dumbass headphones. And Steve, you're probably laughing right now because you're probably wearing them dumbass headphones right now. Well, guess what? If you want to wear them dumbass headphones, what he's telling you to do and what I'm telling you to do is wear those dumbass headphones and don't worry about who thinks you look like a total dick every time you call, because screw them. They're probably not buying your stuff anyway. I bought. Let's go, man. Be yourself.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
I wake up every morning about 5:30, 6 o'clock. First thing I do is grab my phone and start going through the feeds and trying to respond, answer questions, thank people for posting, things like that. So like, again, after this feed is over, if you shared this, I'm going to probably come by and thank you. Other people that follow her, because she's got a lot of famous people following her, they're going to see your words. Again, that's how you start getting engagement, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, I mean, if you want to create a name for yourself, you have to go out of the box and you have to go where the activity is. So absolutely. But 100%, social media is about creating a relationship, and there's no way to create a relationship if you're just talking at somebody all the time. I mean, can you imagine being in a relationship with a woman and all she ever does is talk? I mean, you would just be like, can I just get a word in, right? So it has to be a conversation, and that's why one of our taglines for Boss Media is create a conversation. You need to be the starting point of a conversation that's going to go beyond you, that other people are going to have between themselves when you're not even around. So I think the bottom line is a great point for that, is that people will see a bottom line, maybe the one about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I've talked about that outside of just talking to you. So you've created a conversation that lives beyond you. And that's what social media is really about, sparking a conversation between people who might not even know you.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
What scares you today?
What scares you today? Who asked that question?
Oh, sorry, Mike Chavez.
Mike Chavez, great question. What scares you today? Share this out.
What scares me today is not doing what I love to do. But I do it. I just do it. People ask, how do you do something? You just do it. When I hear people say, this guy has the secret to success, We always say there's no secret to success. You just do whatever you want to do.
Do whichever you want to do and keep going. Now, a lot of people are sitting there, I guarantee you, they're thinking, well, that's easy for you to say. You got you got money now. So it's easy now.
I saw a guy, I don't know, his name is Vic. He speaks all over the world, born with no legs, no arms. He's water skiing. He's water skiing. He gets up, he puts his head down, and you're going to complain about that you got a little crust underneath your nail because you got a fungus? This dude has no arms or legs, and he's doing things.
Who's complaining over?
That's right. Who's complaining?
On fungus?
Someone out there is.
Like, why would you use that one?
It could be Ken Walls. I don't know.
Come on, dude. Hit him in the face. You're complaining about fungus under your nail? I don't think I've ever heard anybody complain about that.
Wait, no.
I did, though I would complain about it.
She or Amber would complain.
You should complain about your toenails. You should probably rethink coming to work altogether with those things.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Think about that.
Well, that's what I was about to ask is how would they get in the habit or be able to practice the ability to not think about the wrong things?
Yep.
Most people will talk about, think about this and do this, but sometimes you have to think about what not to think about.
Right.
Like,
And
how
that's
do you
hard.
do that?
And try not thinking about something.
Exercises.
Right?
Are there any exercises?
It's a very simple process. It's called the upside of fear. And fear is an acronym for focus, emotional commitment, action, responsibility, right? Focus, you got to get clear on what you want. What do you want, right? There's 3 important areas of your life: your money, your relationships, and your health. Think about it. Your money is your professional life, right? Your financial security, your business, your sales, whatever. Your relationships are your family, your friends, your community, those types of things. And your health is your mental, spiritual, or physical health. What do you want in each of those areas? What do you want financially? Synthesize it down to one thing, right? What do you want in your relationships? Maybe you want to be a better husband, a better father, a better mother, whatever it is. What do you want in your health? Get clear on specifically what you want. Think and Grow Rich was one of my favorite books. I'm sure you've read it 100 times. And
Coincidentally, I have.
yeah. It's probably a part of the reason that you're successful, because you have the right mindset, right?
Right.
It's not just what you do, it's what you think and what you do.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Now, Grant, that multifamily property, FHA, first-time buyer, 3% down, is that a good buy or a stupid buy?
Yeah, well, the issue is, it's not how good the deal is. I mean, is the 4-unit deal good? You want number one, you want the 4-unit deal to be good first, but it's a little bit of a trap, Brad, because a guy like you doesn't want to be in a 4-unit deal. There's just not enough upside. But if you're going to buy a house, that would be the way to buy a house. I mean, that would be a smart way to buy a house. Stay in it for 1 year, rent one, use one of the 4 units. And then at the end of the year, oh man, you know what? I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go ahead and rent this one out too. And you're only in the deal for 3%. And
Yeah,
it should cash flow.
And your payment on, let's say, a $360,000 one's a couple $1,000s a month. You rent each unit out for $1,000. You're already cash flowing $2,000 a month.
Well, the note on that deal would be, let me just see, 0.06.
You got your property manager.
Note a year is 21,000, and if you're saying you're renting all 4 of them for $1,000, you're making $19,000 with
$1,900 a month.
$9,000 down.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal, and you're doing what Ronnie's saying about getting your credit score popping and rocking.
Get your credit score popping and rocking, and you start to become, a real
Certainly.
estate mogul like Mr. Grant Cardone.
Certainly, it's better than buying a house that has no chance of ever producing any income.
Hey, Grant, I noticed that there's 2 badass octopi behind you.
Yeah.
What's with the octopi?
Well, both of these are from a good friend that sent me these. Well, no, not you didn't send me this one, right?
No.
No, I bought this one. But you sent me that one back there in the corner, right above my head.
That's right. It's got a 10 key. It's got one of them accounting machines.
Yeah, because I'm a calculator, man. I'm a human calculator.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up.
Well, in that book, in Think and Grow Rich, he outlines 17 principles. But the very first principle he outlines on page 1 of the book is what he calls a definite purpose, right? You got to be specific about what you want. What do you want in your money, your relationships, your health? Then an obvious question has to be asked. What do I need to do to get the things I want, right? And here's the key, you got to keep it simple. You've got to keep it simple. What 1 or 2 things, if you did every single day, would give you the thing you want in your money? What 1 or 2 things could you do every single day to give you the thing you want in your relationship? Not 10 things, not 100 things. What 1 or 2 things could you do every day to hit your finance? That is the key of figuring out what those simple things are. You've all heard of the Pareto principle, right? 80-20 rule. 80% of your results comes from 20% of your efforts. What are those 20% of efforts? What 1 or 2 things could you do every single day? So focus is figuring out, what do I want and what do I have to do? The second step, emotional commitment. You got to get deeply emotionally committed. In fact, the second principle Napoleon Hill talked about was a burning desire, right? I call it an emotional commitment. You got to get deeply emotionally committed. How do you do that? Very simple, you write it down, right? It's what I call a prosperity plan. You write down the 5 or 6 things you want and 1 or 2 things under each one of them that you need to do every single day. You write it down in simple present current tense, and that becomes your plan for your key priorities in life. Then, to get deeply emotionally committed, we engage in what I call a quiet time ritual. It's 10 to 15 minutes a day, simply reviewing that plan, imagining what it's going to be like to have those things. Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich talked about you have to imagine yourself already in possession of these things, right? So you have to read that list and get completely absorbed in it, right? And what that does accomplishes 2 things. Number 1, it teaches us one of the most important lessons that successful people will teach us, and that is you have to live in the present moment, right? There's 3 dimensions of time, past, present, and future. Successful people spend most of their time in the present moment, building their business, building their relationships, doing whatever, right? Where do the losers spend their time? Think about the biggest loser you know in your life.
Past.
They're always bitching about the past, right? I hope that, edit that out or something,
Yep.
right? They're always complaining about the past, right? The ex-wife, the bad boss, the bankruptcy, the foreclosure, the divorce, whatever. They spend an inordinate amount of time worrying about these things. Successful people live in the present moment. And so what happens as you begin to read that prosperity plan, you get completely absorbed in that present moment for those 10 to 15 minutes. Then when you're finished with that, when you start thinking about the past again, all those regrets, you realize how much they're draining the life out of you, right? So the prosperity plan, the quiet time ritual, helps you to learn to live in the present moment. It also does another very important thing, which is we don't have time to go into neurology, but it literally changes the neural connectors in your brain to where these new things become the expectation, right? So now I do my quiet time ritual, I visualize these things, I imagine these things, and now I go out and I take action, the third step, because nothing happens till we take action. Will Rogers said, even if you're on the right path in life, you'll get run over if you just sit there. We have to take consistent action towards the things we want.